Golden Dove Awards. Your host, JC Tevez.
What's going on, monsters? JC Tevez here with you for more hot conversations on Heard on Thursdays, the show that made FM radio talk only on Manila's hottest, Monster RX93.1. And before you know it, wow, it's the Burr months already. Jose Marichan seems to have broken out of quarantine, and we're hoping the last quarter of the year will be a turnaround. You know what? I think it will. Let's believe that. It is. Let's make it happen. In fact, things are already happening. We just have to look around and change our perspective. Don't see hardships, see chances, see hopes, see opportunities. Take it from our guest tonight. They know a thing or two about reinvention during a crisis. Their advertising and events firm and production house, 88ville, was one of the hottest outfits around. Actually, it still is. But then the pandemic happened, projects had to be shut down, the landscape became different, at least for now. Did they cry in quarantine? Did they wallow in the pity pit of despair? Or maybe they did for a while. I think everyone did, right? But they're back on their feet. They set up a banger of a food business called Bang Bang Special Crispy Bangus. Oh, bangus, diba? And they found a new way to communicate to people through their taste buds and tummies. It's hard to get them down. As the movie Chicago puts it, a moving target's hard to hit. Heard on Thursdays, the head honchos behind 88ville Communications and Bang Bang Special Crispy Bangus. Power couple Mike and Lucci Canlas. Mike is managing director of 88ville Communications and president and CEO of Bang Bang, while Lucci Canlas is creative director of 88ville. She's also COO and head of business development for Bang Bang Bangus. So let's welcome them to HOT tonight, Mike and Lucci Canlas. Hello, Mike. Hello,
Lucci.
How are you? Long time no see.
Super long time.
Yeah, for the monsters out there, I've actually worked with Direct Mike and Lucci here for one of my first ever commercial projects in the past. Familiar faces here, but to all our monsters out there who are just seeing you for the first time on our Facebook Live or just hearing your voices for the first time here tonight, let's get to know a little bit more about you. So let's talk about you as a power couple in production and now with your company. But let's talk about 88ville. Let's talk about 88ville first. What is 88ville and how did you start it? When did you start it? What's the story behind that?
So 88ville is a video and events company. He started it actually. So napersa lang ako mag-join when I married him. Yeah, we were really communications practitioners, and see Mike started 88ville. Initially, videos lang, ano?
Yeah, it's video. Yeah. It's 88ville because I established it on August 8, 2008. So, kaya 88ville yung name niya.
Yeah.
Tsaka,
parang sinadya yun. Feeling ko sinadya.
It's a lucky number, di ba?
Okay.
Yeah. So we were handling corporate videos and events for 88ville.
Okay.
Up until,
Up until the pandemic hit. But before the pandemic, let's talk about it was a full service agency. You handled corporate events. You also did brand activations, and you even did, of course, commercials. I'm familiar with that aspect. So you were able to do a whole range of things through 88ville. Do you remember? Do you have any memorable projects that you would like to maybe tell us about or boast? You know, show us. Hey, we did this.
Yeah. Ano bang mga
the musical event.
Yeah, when we made it was Insular Life's Awards night, and parang syempre 'di ba for Insurance Awards night sobrang daming awardees, like I think it's 500 more than 500 awards. So to not make it boring, parang we made an all original musical. So talagang everything was composed. The story was about an insurance agent, ganon. And it was a full talaga musical. So no one left. Everyone watched till the end because all the awardees were like part of the musical, just entering the stage. So parang tuloy-tuloy lang siya. Everybody were on cue, ganon. And of course, yung booths during mga Franchise Asia for Potato Corner naman, those are very memorable kasi yan.
And siguro yung mga brand activation namin sa mga call center kasi we do events mga madaling araw like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Nagsiset up kami. So, para sa akin, very exciting yun kasi medyo iba yun.
For Food Panda as well, nung medyo nagsisimula pa lang sila, orange pa sila nun. We were doing their activations until they turned pink. So, we were there too during the transition of color and Panda.
In a way, when you create your events, you always did something unique, something maybe different from the cookie cutter, stereotypical events that we've seen in the past. So I guess, Direct Mike, a question to you is, why did you decide to start 88ville instead of maybe joining a production company? Diba? I mean, for a lot of people, it's just easier to join an already established company. So what was it about you that you said, I want to make something that's my own? Why did you want to make it so that it was your creative vision behind every project?
Actually, nag-start talaga yung 88ville. Gumagawa kami ng mga student projects lang. So doon talaga siya nag-start. So nakita ko na malaki yung pangangailangan pagdating sa video editing. Then, yun. So, ang ginawa ko lang, 88ville nag-start, nag-purchase lang ako ng isang camera. Then, ayun, nag-start na siya, pinapa-rent ko. Then, actually, ang unang-unang nagbigay sa akin ng commercial, kung sabi mo nga kanina, ikaw yung unang na-direct for commercial, di ba? Si Lucci naman is from the ad agency. So, siya yung nagbigay sa akin ng unang commercial ng 88ville.
Oh, nice.
Kasi before, I didn't join him naman agad. I was practicing also. And then,
okay.
Yeah.
I like that. In a way, you were able to help each other out, create something from scratch. And of course, it boomed into something even bigger. What was a typical, I mean, everyone likes to reminisce about the times pre-COVID, pre-pandemic. During the height of 88ville, when you had a lot of projects, a lot of activations, you must have been not sleeping, no? I mean, how often were you up? Yeah. I mean, what is like a busy day like before for a events team and a production team like 88ville? What can you walk us through a day in the life, kumbaga?
Magkaiba kasi kami ng hawak. Like, ako more on dun sa parang conceptualization. So, most of the time, nasa coffee shop ako, ganun. Naghahanap ng inspiration. Kasi when you bid against like around 8 agencies, ganun. Parang 6 to 8 agencies. So, everyone naman magaling And you really have to think something that would really stand out for you to win that bid and for you to get that project. So, talagang you really have to dig deep or far out wide for ideas.
Siya sa ideas.
Ako dun sa part na yun. So, bidding, creating concepts.
Kumbaga, parang si Lucci sa baril, siya yung taga-kasa.
Okay.
Ako yung taga-putok.
Okay.
So, kasi ako yung in action pagdating sa shooting, ako na yung pinaka-busy
I laid the ground for him.
Sa events, ako na yung talagang nag-handle ng buong events. Kumbaga, ako na yung nagli-lead doon. Yeah. Pero si Lucci talaga yung nasa likod kung paano nangyayari yun. Medyo tinutulungan din naman, may team kami, nagtutulong-tulong for the concept. Pero si Lucci nagli-lead doon. So, ayun siya, ganun yung namin.
Parang naman, pag naman showtime, kay Mike na yan. So, when it's showtime, kayang-kaya na ni Mike yan. Even for videos, like, di ba nag-shoot tayo? I wasn't there, di ba? Pero I wrote the script. Kumbaga, I wrote the script, I made the storyboard, ako na naggawa nun, and then I handed over to him.
Kumbaga, yung barilan ng creative agency, siya yung binabaril revise mo to. Hanggang lumusot yun sa parang butas ng karayom. Okay, shoot na tayo. So,
nice.
Yun yung si Lucci.
That's how you were before.
And I mean, you mentioned before how competitive it was, even pitching for getting a client, diba? But now I wanted to ask, since you have an agency, a creative agency like 88ville, the effect of the pandemic, how did it hit not just 88ville but everyone? What was the effect of the COVID pandemic? Did it really, I'm sure live events and everything went down, but what about yung mga production remotely done? Does that still exist at this time?
Yeah, you mean online events?
Yes, online events or even online hostings, for example.
Yeah, we tried to do some actually when the pandemic hit. Pero parang Parang not for us, no?
Not for us.
Parang kumbaga, and Bang Bang was starting to pick up na din. So we were, medyo na-defocus na kami into events. But pandemic really hit the industry hard.
Yeah.
Ang dami naming friends in the industry.
Kumbaga, nung pumasok yung 2020, January, February, siksik kami every month ng mga events and activation.
Wow.
Parang pataas si 88ville nun Tapos biglang nag-hit yung pandemic. Okay? So, ayun.
Yun.
So, yun siya.
Certain, naman, we feel blessed naman na, there was a different path.
Kumbaga, yung buong 2020, may mga nakaschedule na kami mga events nun. Yun, nag-cancel lahat yun.
Yeah.
Oh my. Well, I mean, at least you were able to adjust, and yeah, I mean, it's very evident, diba? Just the way that the way you talk about your business before your venture right now is that you always wanted to come up with something creative, something new, something that people maybe haven't experienced when it came to events. So now you've started your own business selling crispy bangus. How did that come about? I mean, when did you start it, and why was that the route you decided to go? Ang dami naman ibang pagkain sa Pilipinas. Any food to sell. Why crispy bangus?
Sige, ikaw naman.
Ako na magkwento. Di ba kasi the idea actually so simple pritong bangus. Kumbaga, so simple. Pero parang no one has done it before to specialize really in fried bangus. But in every table, sa mga Filipino restaurants, you'd notice na may bangus. Saga may kare-kare, may sinigang, may ano. Tapos merong fried bangus. So that happened during our son's birthday. Nasa Pinay restaurant kami, nag-order kami, and one of them was bangus. And then yun yung eureka moment ni Mike na.
So hindi na ako makatulog nun.
Since that day.
So parang sabi namin, bakit tayo hindi mag-fried ng bangus na malaki? Then ilagay natin sa kakaibang lagayan. Ilagay natin sa pizza box.
Yeah.
So yun yung pinaka business idea niya talaga.
Yeah, that's when the concept came. It was January of 2020. Last year lang din.
Last year lang. Okay, so a little over a year and a half lang yung the business. And before we talk about the success, I already know it's successful so far. But before we talk about how it became successful, we have to ask muna yung background ninyo tungkol sa food entrepreneurship, because we already know you're very successful at doing the creative works. But did you already venture into food businesses before? Did you own a franchise of a different food cart before you started your own?
Unang franchise namin, siomai siya. Siomai, nag-franchise kami ng isang siomai brand. So that was our first, kumbaga, attempt at having a food business. So, yeah, yun. And then,
naggawa rin kami ng milk tea.
Yun.
Okay.
Parang we brought it to the masses, yung brewed na milk tea. So, yun. Yun yung that was the year 2018. 2018.
So in a way, you already had maybe 2 years of experience under your belt when it came to setting up food business or food cart.
Yeah.
But starting your own, that's something completely new naman. No? I mean, this is your own franchise. This is something that you created, and that must have taken. I mean, you must have had a lot of learning to do as well. Even though you already had 2 years of experience franchising other food. Since you created your own, ano yung mga biggest challenges that you had when setting up something new? Because for me, let's pretend that I wanted to start my own food cart. I have my own idea. I have something creative. I have something unique that I think will sell. How would you tell us the steps that you took to get it started?
Siguro, well, for me, siguro yung pinaka-base niya is siguro dahil events kami, kailangan na we need to make things happen. So it was in project management. Aside from we were entrepreneurs na sa 88ville, kumbaga, pag may naisip ka, kailangan mo siyang pangyarihin. So you need you need suppliers, you need a recipe, you need so you have to make it happen. So siguro yun yung training na nagawa sa amin.
Kasi actually madali lang mangarap Pero yung step by step mong tutuparin kung ano yung nasa isip mo, yun talaga yung medyo mahirap gawin. Minsan yung idea napakasimple. Minsan yung mahirap talaga. Para talagang matupad yun. Kasi minsan iisipin mo, simple lang yan, madali lang yan. Pero kung wala kang follow through, parang wala kang timetable na binibigay sa sarili mo. Kailangan Friday meron na akong ganito, kailangan Monday makausap ko na si ganito. Wala kung puro lang nasa isip mo, medyo mahirap tayo nagsisimula sa ganun.
Yeah. Kumbaga, yung elements din, business and supplier, of course, the recipe, and then construction. Yun kasi we are constructing booths na rin for our clients. So, constructing a store is quite easy.
Siguro yung events and activation, malaking bagay sa amin yun. Kaya siguro natayo namin yung mga store. Kumbaga parang napaka-blessing na yun. At yun yung trabaho namin for almost 10 years eh. So, pagdating dito sa food, sa pagpatatayo ng business na to, so medyo hindi naman kami masyado nahirapan.
Nice.
Yun. Pero yun na nga, since it's completely new, parang maraming kapaan din. Especially hindi naman kami food, hindi naman culinary yung background namin.
Oo, hindi naman. Actually, JC, siguro ang pinaka-ano lang namin sa food background ko, kasi nag-direct ako ng mga TV show, lifestyle, dito sa Pinas, sa abroad. So, puro lifestyle show yung hinahawakan ko. So, pag nag-shoot kami sa isang restaurant, syempre, ibibigay sa'yo yung pinaka-the best.
Yes.
So, yun yung lagi ko natitikman. So, for how many years yun? Siguro, mga 3 to 4 years, lifestyle ang hinahawakan kong show. So, malaking bagay din talaga yun. Kaya tumaas yung parang panlasa ko na sa food business lang naman kailangan mo dalawa lang. Masarap o hindi masarap. Kailangan mong maano yun eh. Kumbaga, kailangan mong matanggap sa sarili mo na, ay, masarap to. Ay, hindi to masarap. Ganun lang.
I see.
Honest naman kami sa kanya. Kasi he develops the recipes.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. Surprisingly. Pero it really was, basta magic siya eh. We can talk about it then if kasi medyo jump na ba ako. Pero kumbaga, how the recipes are derived.
Sure.
It's really quite a story.
Sige, we'll talk about that when we learn about how many branches you have. But I want to talk about your first branch because you said you started nung January of last year. So at that time, wala pang lockdown, wala pang pandemic. So you were doing this already na you didn't expect the pandemic to hit. When it finally came, did your business boom? I know there was a time when nobody could go out, but evidently now you have more branches than when you started with. So what was that like when you heard about, there will be no food during ECQ, for example? What was, as business owners and first time creators of your own food franchise, that must have been scary, it must have been frightening.
Actually, yung January, idea pa lang siya, concept.
Idea pa lang, okay.
Oo. Tapos, pagdating ng March, binuo na namin yung store. Siguro it's last week ng February hanggang mga first,
Nagko-construct na kami.
Nagko-construct na kami ng Bang-Bang yung unang store. Then, biglang nag-ECQ. May store na kami. As in, eto na talaga. Lalagyan na lang, magtitinda na lang kami. Kaso ayun, biglang ng ECQ. 3 buwan kaming natingga. Pero yung sa 3 buwan na yun, inano na lang namin na ito yung chance siguro na mas pasarapin natin yung Bang-Bang. Mas improve pa natin. Kasi yung concept kasi January lang. Isipin mo, February, March, na agad, perfect. So parang siguro, blessing na rin ni God yun na parang, ops. Wait lang. Huwag kayong magmadali. I-perfect nyo yung ingredients nyo. So, actually, June na kami nakapagbukas nun.
June 7.
Yeah, June 7.
Wow. So, in a way, you took what most people would fear and turned it into something that you could really maybe learn from, or you could develop even more. Kasi if it was a lot of people I know decided to start a business and then bigla nag-pandemic, a lot of them would just give up on the idea. So I think first of all, kudos to you for sticking through with it and seeing positivity in a very negative situation. And you started with your first branch. Let's talk about your first branch muna. Where was your first branch? You said you already set it up. Tapos nung March, ready na. Tapos bigla, ECQ. But where was the first branch that opened? And how did you see, why did you determine that, this is really successful, let's open another one? So let's talk about that story, your first branch, and when you finally saw how successful it was. Why do you think it was so successful during a difficult time like the pandemic?
Actually, hindi siya successful nung una eh.
Hindi talaga.
Kasi, kasi syempre, bago to. Wala pang nakakagawa nito. So kami, feeling namin, successful to, papatok to. So, ang dami namin in-order na bangus. Ayun. Ayun nga.
As in, naka-ready talaga kami.
Ready kami. Kasi alam namin masarap eh. Tinatry namin sa mga kaibigan namin, masarap to. Pero, ayun, siguro mga naka-20 lang yata kasi isang araw. Ang ano namin, 100 to, 50 to. 50, mababa na to, 50, 100 araw-araw to. So, ayun. So, di ba? So, galing kang ECQ, ang taas na moral mo. Pagdating ng opening mo, ay, parang hindi pa din Pero, kasi, naniwala lang kami talaga sa idea. Siguro yung pinangahawakan namin na maniwala tayo, alam natin masarap to. Titiisin lang natin, tsatsagain lang natin. So, yun siguro yung secret nun.
Parang more on yung siguro masasabi na hindi magiging successful to. We believed in the product din. Na, saka hindi lang naman kami people who tried it. So, as long as merong nasasarapan, sabi nga namin, hanggat may nag-order, may nasasarapan, tutuloy tayo. Kasi it wasn't easy talaga. Before it boomed, yung bang-bang, talagang we were at a point of survival lang talaga. Kumbaga, sakto-sakto lang talaga yung kita kahapon sa ngayon. Ganun lang talaga siya.
Kasi, makwento ko lang, parang, di ba minsan yung ECQ natin, biglang 9 p.m. na nagiging curfew, ganyan. So, ako, parang, tinitignan ko lang yung tindahan, nandun ako sa kabilang kanto, so nakikita mo yung tindahan, gabi, iniintay mo na magsara, tapos parang isa lang yung bumili ng gabi na yon. Tapos pupuntahan mo yung mga crew mo. Siyempre, sila medyo disappointed, ganyan. Sinabi ko sa kanila noon, tanda-tanda ako, huwag kayong manghina hanggat may bumo-order sa atin, 1, 2, 3, may naniniwala sa atin, ituloy lang natin to. Yun yung exact word ko sa kanila noon.
Nice.
Na dalawa yung crew namin noon.
So kaya pala niya lagi nakikita kasi the first store was near our house. So, malapit lang siya dito sa amin sa Project 7.
Ganda.
Kaya madali lang din siya i-manage. And then, people naman na hinire namin, malapit lang din. So, yung kahit lockdown, kaya nila lakarin yung store hindi kami magsasara. Which was became the business model for the rest of the branches. Para hire someone who lives near. Para lagi kang bukas kasi makakapasok siya sa store mo.
True. So let's talk about the success moment because 'di ba nakwento na ninyo na at first kahit actually not even break even, you were actually losing money based on your story earlier. But there must be a time, like let's say kunwari kasi director naman kayo. I mean, Direct Mike, you direct films and you direct commercials. So if there was gonna be a bang bang bangus na parang inspirational AVP, ano yung moment na mapipinpoint ninyo na where you're like, wow, this is something that is actually very lucrative and also something that we worked hard on and we're seeing that it's finally paying off. At what point last year did you see that happen?
A couple of moments. We had our first franchisee November 2021. 2020. So, November 2020, nagkaroon na kami ng unang franchisee, sila Jenna and Ken. So, actually, sila pa yung mapilit na, pa-franchise nyo na yan, gagawin sila. So, very, parang encouraging for us. So, sumugal din sila sa amin. And actually, mag-open na sila very soon ng pangatlo nilang branch. So, yung unang franchisee namin, nag-open na sila November and then February. And then, next week, they'll be opening their third.
Pangatlo na.
Nice.
Very inspiring. Galing din nila talaga. So, yun yung isang unang moment.
Tsaka yung unang franchise nilang Bang Bang is galing sa retrenchment.
Retrenchment noon.
So kami, syempre, medyo pressure sa amin yun. Kasi syempre, first time magpa-franchise kay Bang Bang, talagang sumugal sa'yo. So, talagang talaga yun. Pero yun, siguro, partners din talaga Gagalingan namin, ginalingan nila, equal success. Kasi hindi pwedeng pag nag-franchise ka na, okay na yan. Bahala na si franchisor dyan. Kumbaga parang teamwork talaga siya. between the
Teamwork.
franchisor and the franchisee.
Saka yung story ni Bang Bang, magical talaga siya eh. Di ba, ang hirap na, hirap. Tapos nun, out of nowhere, a stranger called us. So that time, he was a complete stranger.
Wow.
That time, sobrang friends na kami, syempre. So, someone called us, and then, si Don, I wanna go into business with you guys. So we had an angel investor around January who, parang, it was enough for us to put up a head office, set up a system, put up 3 more stores. So, dun sa 3 more stores na yun, dun na kumalat siya bigla. So, parang naging exponential yung tapos we made sure we had a head office ready to support yung ina-anticipate namin na growth. So, you build a foundation muna para habang nag-grow sila, parang nakaset up na yung system. So, yun si Don came around January.
Yes,
Mga late January. So, February, 5 lang stores namin. Ngayong August, 31 na. No? After 6 months.
Wow!
Sinabi ko agad.
Ay, sorry. Naramaya ko ba yun?
It goes to show that if you really believe in your product, if it's really a good product, people will come, no? People will come. People will discover you. People who believe in you. Like you said, you had an angel investor call and say, I believe in your product. I like your product. So, I mean, let's just talk about for yung mga listeners namin who might be interested in not necessarily franchising Bang Bang, but who want to get into franchising. Because maybe some people, they don't have the creative ability to create their own brand yet. Or maybe they don't want to do all the legwork of setting up their own company. What is the typical franchisee relationship? How does that work? For example, with you guys, if someone wants to franchise through you, what is the agreement there? How do you work things out? Talk about everything from staff and of course the product and the menu and the ingredients and the cooking. How does that all work if someone wanted to franchise through you?
Yeah. So kumbaga they'll be buying kasi the system, the brand, the products. And so when you franchise with us or with any franchisor, kumbaga bumibili ka na ng business eh. Parang you just need to find a location and then kung anong ginagawa nila, the knowledge is transferred. Kumbaga you get the supplies from them. So kumbaga mas madali na siguro yung simula. You don't have to start from zero. So meron na rin siyang branding and yung lasa nyo pare-pareho lang across.
Siguro more on tao, yung staff. Kukunin din yung staff. And pagdating naman sa location, we evaluate naman the location. Mm-hmm. So we need to approve the location na we make sure na okay tong location na to, hindi kayo malulugi dito. Mm-hmm. And
so when they sign up with us, parang with franchisors, we provide na the equipment, yung kitchen, isa-set up na namin yung kitchen nila. Kami, susukatan namin per location kasi kumbaga dine-design din namin yung store according to their location. So minsan kasi pahaba, minsan pa-square, minsan ano. So kino-customize din namin na yung kung paano yung placement ng mga gamit, ganun. So we provide na the equipment, how the store would be set up, the signages, lahat ng
training din namin yung mga crew nila.
So
actually, punta na lang sila doon.
Yeah, yun. Pero so yun yung maganda rin when you franchise kasi maraming iba pang aalalahanin sa business eh. Syempre, hindi naman kahit mag-franchise ka, mahirap. You have to have accounting, legal, and all permits.
Tsaka siguro maganda rin sa franchising is yung mga pagkakamali namin is hindi na mangyayari sa amin na lang. Nagawa na namin mga pagkakamali namin na hindi na namin mauulit. And ayun nga, so sa franchising siguro is may system na. So susundan na lang nila, meron tayong
operations manual.
Kung may mangyaring ganito, alam na natin yung gagawin natin, nandun lang sa manual. So yun naman siya.
And with Bang Bang kasi like 90% of the ingredients come from the commissary. So from the bangus and yung mga breading, sauces, lahat yan minimix na sa commissary namin. Pre-mix na sila. So pagdating sa tindahan, pahit-pahit na lang sila, franchisee.
Actually, madali lang yung bangbang eh. May 3 process lang kami. Prito, pahid, and budbud. So yun lang, may bangbang na.
So yeah, we try as much as possible to make things easy for our franchisees because again, marami pang ibang aalalahanin sa business. Yung pinaka-system, yung pagbibigay ng supplies, yung branding, yung we provided to them na, and yun franchisors provided na to their franchisees.
Yeah. So in a way, you make it very streamlined. You make it easy to get started. But Direct Mike, I like what you said. A benefit of going through to you guys is, or to anyone who wants to franchise from someone, is that you don't have to experience the mistakes that the originators experience. Can you talk about your mistakes? Can you talk about maybe common mistakes? Yeah, common mistakes that maybe not just bang bang, but for maybe someone who wants to set up their own food cart franchise. What are mistakes that you could tell them about so that they could avoid it?
Actually, the bangus, sobrang hirap niyang i-handle. So, yung before kami nag-start, actually nasiraan kami ng siguro 800 bangus.
Wow!
Tinapon namin yun. Kasi hindi namin na-handle maigi. So, pagdating sa training ng bangbang, dyan ako mahigpit. Kailangan, yung oras niyan, kailangan maiprito na yan. Basta marami kaming parang food safety pagdating sa pag-handle ng bangus. Kasi dyan talaga kami namulubi. 800 bangus yun. Magkano yun? So yun talaga hindi ko makakalimutan at hindi na nila mararanasan. Kaya, siyempre, nandiyan din yung mga, yung mga nawawalan, di ba? Siyempre, hindi na bago yun. So, may mga masasama minsan. So, alam na rin natin kung paano natin isi-safety yung mga tindahan natin. So, ayun. Kasi nangyari na rin sa amin yun. Pinasok na yung tindahan namin. Nanakawan na kami. Kinuha yung cellphone. So, ayun.
Yeah, yung security.
Okay. So good things. I mean, good things that you're able to impart knowledge on future franchisees, for example. Mga ganun na bagay. Man, 800 na bagos. Ang dami nun, ha? That's a lot.
At ang sabi ko nun, ang instruction ko nun parang, ayokong ipamimigay nyo yan kasi baka kumalat tayo sa barangay. Ganito yung quality natin.
Or may ma-harm pa, diba?
So, ang ginawa namin, tinapon na lang namin sa ilog siguro yung iba.
sa ilog?
Sa ilog. Basta sa ilog eh. 800 yun. Ang dami doon. So sabi ko, huwag nyo ipamimigay yan ha. Kailangan makita namin na walang ipamimigay dito sa store. So ayun. Kaya actually bangus namin pala parang before kami mag-start ng bangus, ibang lugar ng bangus tinikman namin. Nagtikim kami ng bangus ng Navotas, ng Malabon. So, iba-ibang lugar, tinikman namin yan.
Iba-ibang lasa din kasi.
Kasi iba-iba din pala yung lasa ng bangus sa iba-ibang lugar. Oo. So nakapili kami ng pinaka-the best. So, yun yung pinaka-supplier namin.
I see. And actually, I wanted to ask you, since you're very, it's all about maintaining the brand. The brand, of course, is the delicious taste of your bangus. But in this very competitive environment, diba, crispy bangus. Why did you decide on crispy bangus? Is there not a lot of people in that market right now, or what's the what sets you guys apart? I know I've seen your menu, but maybe you want to share what you decided to create on your menu to make it stand out from other people who sell, let's say, bangus.
Actually, kasi nga, for example ako, pag pumupunta ako sa kanto, ganyan, check ako ng pagkain na pwede kong kainin. Parang lagi na lang chicken, lagi na lang pork. So, wala masyadong bangus eh. So, parang, tsaka, mahilig din na kumakain kami ng mga grilled na bangus. Pero siguro yung mag-innovate ng parang pritong bangus. Kasi ang una kong concept talaga is, gusto kong gumawa ng bangus na medyo kalasa ng crispy pata. Parang ganun talaga yung una kong concept eh. So, yun talaga yung hinahabol namin sa lasa ng bangus namin. Medyo para siyang healthy na medyo yummy. Kasi ang bangus kasi parang yung mga oldies natin dyan na parang gusto ko ng bangus kasi grilled, healthy to, hindi siya So kami parang healthy na medyo yummy.
Medyo yummy.
Parang we look for that sweet spot na kumbaga, bangus is healthy, fish is healthy. Pero syempre, fried is not completely healthy. Pero kumbaga, where we get to enjoy it, we get to enjoy the fish. Sa totoo, a couple of our franchisees, most of our franchisees pala are fans, are customers. Kumbaga,
mga suki.
Mga suki sila. And then they eventually, put up their own bang-bang. Dalawa sa kanila don't even eat fish. Parang they only eat bang-bang. Kaya, so doon sila siguro na-convince na, kasi we try to make it enjoyable for them. That's why we added flavors, ganyan. So even kids, no? Napapakain na ng isda ng parents nila. Kapag we have comments like that, feedback like that. Na,
okay.
My kid na eats fish.
So, Lucci, na-mention mo na kanina how many franchise, but just to get it on the record again, how many do you have now? How many franchises of Bang Bang are there in the Philippines?
30 stores.
30?
Pero we have around ilan pa lined up? 6 lined up soon.
6 lined up.
Yun.
Okay.
Yeah. We open 1 to 2 branches a week.
Wow. Nice. That's great. And I mean, there's too many to list now, but I assume they must be all over Metro Manila. No? Are you outside of Metro Manila also?
Yeah.
Meron kami sa Batangas, Nasugbu, Cavite, nasa Laguna rin kami. So,
and last weekend, nag-open si Infanta Quezon.
Yung Infanta Quezon.
Ano siya, record-breaking sales siya. Na-break niya lahat ng record ng previous opening day sales.
Had 118 bangus.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that day.
Grabe.
Minsan yung mga franchisee nagtatanungan ano ba yung record na kailangan kong i-beat?
Hinintay lang nila kasi close na sila kasi ang dami pang gustong pumili. Talagang they had to decline kasi wala na silang titinda kinabukasan. So, they broke the record for yung last Saturday sa Quezon.
Galing. And actually, that's it's a little bit surprising to me because nowadays, when you think of food, the food industry, because of the pandemic and the restrictions when it comes to dining in, did that even really kind of affect because you're more of a food stall. So can you share your thoughts on why you think it's so successful even during this time when dining out is not as commonplace as it was in 2019?
Actually, medyo mas lumakas kami ng ECQ
Talaga?
Kasi siguro si Bang Bang kasi is pang-pamilyang food. So siguro lahat ng tao nasa bahay, so gusto natin pang solo, pang sharing. So yun yung nangyari.
Yeah, tapos yung although talaga we feel for the restaurant industry and talagang kumbaga our heart bleeds din for mga kumbaga kasama natin sa industry na talagang nahihirapan ngayong pandemic. Feeling namin lang talaga, medyo swerte lang talaga with the business model that we came up with. As in, sa ngayon kasi nasa communities kami, maliit lang yung rental space. So, ang baba lang ng monthly operational expenses mo, 1 or 2 staff lang. So, yun nga, low rental, yung staff, ganun lang, very simple kitchen, and then very simple preparation. Kaya yung break-even point niya, hindi rin ganun kalaki. Pero you only need to sell
mga 8 to 10 bangus.
Hindi, yun sa maliliit talaga. Yung iba naman mga 15, ganun. Break-even point. So, ganun lang. So, for you to sell like 100, wow, super okay na yun. Kaya, kumbaga, yun yung ginawa kasi naming business model.
Maliit lang yung operational expense talaga.
Wow. Yeah. So, once the pandemic ends, because it will end, eventually, right now, it seems like there's no end in sight. But I'm sure down the line, things will return back to the way they were. What do you envision for the future of your franchise? What do you want it to be? Do you want it to be because for now, for example, maybe the name recognition right now, Bang Bang Bangus, not many people know it yet. Obviously, it's already gaining traction, 30 plus franchise already, and you're adding more every week or two. But what do you want it to become? What diba, you said it started out with a vision, with a dream. What is your biggest dream for Bang Bang Bangus?
To really go global. Yun talaga. If you see your box, mapapansin mo sa taas ng Bang Bang na logo, meron dong baybayin na parang characters, which spells Bang Bang din. Kumbaga, it's Bang Bang in Baybayin. It's our, kumbaga, sinaunang Filipino alphabet, diba? And we, from the start, we really placed the Pinoy mark na sa Bang Bang with the dream of going global, with the dream of representing. Kaya mula't simula, we got the best bangus. We made sure the flavors are good. We made sure na the ingredients are hindi magko-compromise. Kasi nga mula't simula, gusto namin, ikaka-proud to talaga ng Pilipino. No? At ang sa-serve namin sa Pilipino, yung the best lang. Kasi nga, we deserve the best. So when we go out and we bring them the best, it's for the world to enjoy. For mga homesick nating kababayan sa ibang bansa na gusto rin matikman ulit yung bangus, ganun. Or perhaps a business for them if they want to franchise abroad. Ganun. So,
saka yung pambansang isda natin, matikman din sa ibang bansa.
Yeah.
I agree.
Kasi kadalasan, di ba, may mga sikat na isda. Parang gustong tikman ng Pinoy yan. Dahil sikat yan sa ganyang bansa. Parang gusto namin na pag sinabing bangus, parang, Pinas yan. Kahit foreigner yan, ay bangus, masarap ang bangus. Because of Bang Bang. Actually, ang idea, ito, makakwento ko lang, parang chicken, ang daming nag-innovate. Parang na-roast, di ba, naging boneless yan. Pork, ang dami rin nag-innovate. Pero yung bangus, bakit walang nag-innovate? So si Bang Bang, binigyan niya ng bagong bihis yung bangus. Binigyan niya ng parang
new life.
Kasi matagal na panahon na wala masyado nag-innovate ng bangus. So yun siguro yung pinaka-inano ni Bang Bang.
Binago ni Bang Bang yung bangus, pero yung pagmamahal ng Pinoy sa bangus, mula noon, consistent yan. Kumbaga, kahit mga lolo natin, hanggang mga anak natin, kilala nila yung bangus. So, we just give it a different twist. So, the love of Filipinos for bangus has always been there.
Nice. And you know what, Mike, Lucci, we have listeners who listen from abroad because we have a streaming app naman, but also our listeners listening right now. Before we come to a close, I'm sure there are a few out there already who are like, wow, this sounds like something that I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of, not just a successful business, but also of sharing the taste of Pinoy across the world and across the country. So where can they reach out to you if ever they want to franchise Bang Bang Bangus? What are your social media pages, or what's the best way to contact you if ever they're interested in doing so?
Sa Facebook, we have Bang Bang Special Crispy Bangus. They can send us a message and inquire about the franchise. And can I give a number here?
Of course, yes, you can.
Okay. And you can contact K De Goma. His number is 0965-89-11705. Anytime, sasagot yan.
Yes. Sa both FB and IG, ang handle namin at Bang Bang Bangus PH.
Bang Bang Bangus. Okay, and actually, just in case people who are watching this on Facebook Live, they can always replay that so that they can hear the number. But Direct Mike, if for everyone maybe hinahanap pa yung notepad nila or their notes app while you were reading the number, can you give that number again just in case?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 0965-89-11705.
Okay.
He's our franchisee officer.
Nice.
So,
everything is official. My franchise officer. It's just the way it makes it very makes it seem like the way you talk about your vision for the business. I would feel like if I was gonna franchise, I'd like to have the owners be people like you who have a vision, who seem to care about not losing 800 bangus must have hurt, so you must have been able to diba? But of course,
yes.
Go ahead. No, of course, go ahead.
If I may add din, actually yung isang rin namin, gusto namin, yung mission namin for Bang Bang, aside from, kumbaga, we multiply entrepreneurs, but of course, kasunod yan yung multiplying employment, kumbaga to give opportunities din na magka-work yung mga wala ng trabaho, and kumbaga, yung makatulong din tayo sa economy kahit paano. Yun yung part ng vision ng company. So,
nice. Well, Mike, Lucci, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Of course, I'm sure you have friends and family listening on air and also watching online. may gusto ba kayo i-shout out? Maybe your staff or your franchise officer might be listening. Do you want to say hello to them?
Yeah, actually, first of all, si Reese.
Si Reese.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for hooking us up here. And then, lahat ng staff ng Kitchen 77 Food Creations Inc. Yun pala yung pangalan ng company namin.
Sila Mark, sila Kay, sila Monique, sila MJ, si Marvin, si Rosel, si Luan, si Juju, si Ai, sino pa ba? Si Jello. Yan. At saka may mga masisipag naming staff na nasa tindahan na sumusugal na araw-araw pumapasok. Yan. Sobrang salamat sa inyo.
Had to Banyo rin, may high school friends.
Yung pinsan ko, si Christian de la Fuente, na may pet supplies. Yeah. So, ayun.
That's it. All right. Thank you so much, Mike Lucci, and congratulations once again on opening all these stores. And hopefully, after the pandemic, dumami pa yan, and we have you here in the booth. You can tell us about your 100th booth or your 1,000th.
Sana.
But thank you so much. Join us again next week for more hot conversations here on Heard on Thursdays. My name is JC Tevez. Have a wonderful evening and keep it locked right here on The Monster. Good night, everyone.